What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great Veterans Day. Today is kind of a rough day for me, and I'll get into that later on when I do my fireside chat and things. But just let me say, hold the people you love close. And when somebody says, hey, I want to spend time with you, find time to spend with that person. Okay, I'm being serious now. Um, I like to be thought. Okay, I love history, as you can tell from me working on a house that is 204 years old, the red brick house. I always love studying history because I always feel that you can learn so much from the past, and if you don't know where you've been, you don't know where you're going. And I've talked in nauseum about um, the Super Bowl winning team that Mike McCarthy coached. There's so many parallels with that team. It's crazy. And you know, one of the things that we're talking about and worrying about is the running game for the Cowboys, for example. You know, we're averaging 3.9 yards a carry. And I'm not saying that we are the 2010 Green Bay Packers, but when you look at that team, Aaron Rodgers had 28 TD passes, 11 interceptions, 3,900 yards. It's basically the same numbers that Jack is projected to have, maybe a little bit less, believe it or not. But another thing on that team was their offense was ranked 10th in the NFL. Their defense was second. They had a great defense that led the team. And the running game, as we're averaging 3.9 yards, they averaged actually 3.8. They didn't have 1,000-yard running back. It was somebody by the. Let me look at it because I didn't even recognize the name. Their leading running back was Brandon Jackson with 703 yards, averaging 3.7 yards a carry. But as we were doing our Zoom call live stream, Thomas Garrett reminded me of something that I forgot. And this is where it's great having you guys. You know, you guys bring me information and I can kind of go back and look at it and put it together and stuff. And this is where I always say, without you guys, it doesn't work because you guys will spark a light bulb for me. Here's something that's crazy because as Thomas Garrett said, he said, this reminds him, he said, you're going to say I'm crazy, but he said it reminds him of the 92 Dallas Cowboys. And he said in that season, he said it started out with the Eagles looking like they were the team and they were running away with the division. Early on, they started out, they beat New Orleans, they beat the Cardinals, they beat Denver. And then the Cowboys and Eagles met. They were both undefeated. And the Eagles destroyed us. They destroyed us 31-7. So now all of a sudden, boom, Eagles are the hot team. But here's where it gets crazy. And this is one of those ones, really? The very next week, guess who the Eagles played? Guess. Just guess who the Eagles played next week. The next week. Anyone? Don't Google it. Who do you think they played the next week? Kansas City Chiefs. And they lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. And then they proceeded to lose to the Washington Commanders. They held on and beat the Cardinals. And then they lost to the Cowboys the next time. The Cowboys ended up winning the division and going on and winning the Super Bowl. And mind you, this is where it even gets crazier. We played them in the divisional round and beat them. Kind of crazy. Don't you think? Kind of crazy. Lightning striking twice, Coincidence? Maybe. But here's the thing that's interesting, because as we start looking at the Cowboys' schedule here, now again, the Cowboys can pull a Cardinals tomorrow. I mean, that's possible. Sometimes you win games that you shouldn't win, and you lose games that you shouldn't. Okay, we shouldn't have lost to the Cardinals, although you can look at that and say we did have a lot of injuries in that game. We did not have, not that our offensive line has been playing great this season, but you didn't have Zach Martin, Biotish, and Tyron Smith at that game, and you had just gotten Tyler Smith back in the lineup from being injured. Just saying. That's just one of those things. But this is where the Cowboys have an opportunity to stack some wins. If they go through in the next 18 days between now and the end of the month, this could be a November to remember, because this is where you have an opportunity to turn things around. I know Eagle fans are just, in their mind that they've already won the Super Bowl, that they're going to sweep the Cowboys, that nobody is a threat to them whatsoever. Okay, whatever you say. But the Cowboys play the Giants with Danny DeVito. The guy does like to run, so there is that. But Saquon Barkley is 0-9 against the Cowboys. Can you believe that? So much for having a great back being the difference maker. Carolina Panthers, another team that is really bad. If the Cowboys take care of what they should, those two games, boom, all of a sudden, you're 7-3. You got the Commanders on Thanksgiving. You should be able to beat the Commanders. The good thing for you is, Montez Sweat and Chase Young, two of the best players on their defense, are no longer there. That team is up and down, but mostly down. The fact that you have two of those three games at home is favorable to you. The Seahawks at home. I'm glad it's not in Seahawks, because I've been there, and that's like being inside a jet engine. You got a chance. You should be favored on that one. And then, this is where for once the NFL maybe did the Cowboys a favor. Maybe did us a favor. This is a terrible stretch. Mind you, we've got 4 games in 18 days. That's a lot. But 3 of them are at home. 3 of them are against teams that will be picking in the top 10. You then have a mini bye week before you play the Eagles at home. You got to look at that and say, it's conceivable with 10 days before you have to play the Eagles. With the Eagles coming off their bye week, having to play Kansas City, having to play the 49ers, having to play the Bills, and then play us. I don't know that they win all 4 of those games. All right. Here's where it's interesting. Everybody says, December is going to be hell for the Cowboys. The Bills seem to be not what people thought they were. Now, it's going to be December in Buffalo. It could be 3 feet of snow or more, the day before the game. Buffalo has the advantage of being at home. But Buffalo, and specifically Josh Allen, the turnover machine, the thing that everybody tries to make Dak Prescott out to be, Mr. 69 interceptions since 2018. Mind you, I think that's more interceptions by far than Dak has in his whole career since 2016. You got Miami. I believe that's in Miami where it's warm. And I will still say Miami, I think they have the same record as we do. And they haven't beat a winning team either. The Lions, which could be that team. They could be the team that actually has home field advantage. But they are the Lions. And sometimes a leopard can't change its spots. And then you finish with the Commanders. I know it's crazy to say that the Cowboys could get on a roll. It could be that the Eagles, which have started to get nicked up pretty bad, I know they got the time to rest, but Dallas Goedert, it's going to be 4 weeks minimum. That's huge. Kobe Dean, Jalen Hurts in the knee. They've got some injuries that are severe. For once, the Cowboys are getting healthy. So for anybody out there that's already saying, forget it, the season, this schedule kind of turns favorable to the Cowboys and doesn't look quite as bad as it once did. So we'll see where this all goes. But I feel better about where we're going from here than I did a few weeks ago. All right, good people, get ready to watch my man Game Time and Prime Time at 8 o'clock. Hope to see you guys there. And we'll be starting out at 9:30. We're going to be doing a marathon day. I'm going to be getting up extra early because I didn't go get the meats tonight. I'm going to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning, grab the meats, get back here and start live streaming at 9:30 because that's what we do here at the Joe Boo Sports Report. I appreciate you. Peace.